ಲಾ 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 ಲಾ. ಕಣ್ಣಾರೆ ನಾ ಕಂಡ ದೇವಾಲಯ, ಬೆಂತಟ್ಟಿ ಮುನ್ನಡೆಸು ವಿದ್ಯಾಲಯ. ನಾನಾಡು ಉಸಿರಲ್ಲಿಯೂ ಮುದ್ದಾದ ನೆನಪೊಂದಿದೆ, ನನ್ನಲ್ಲೇ ಉಳಿದೋಗಿದೆ. ಕಾಲ ಕಳೆದೋಗಿ ದಿನ ಉರುಳಿದೆ, ನೆನಪು ನಮ್ಮಲ್ಲೇ ಉಳಿದೋಗಿದೆ. ನನ್ನಾನೆಯ ಜ್ಞಾಪಕ ಎಂದೆಂದು ಮರೆಯಾಗದು, ನನ್ನಿಂದ ದೂರಾಗದು. ಕಣ್ಣಾರೆ ನಾ ಕಂಡ ದೇವಾಲಯ, ಬೆಂತಟ್ಟಿ ಮುನ್ನಡೆಸು ವಿದ್ಯಾಲಯ. ನಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿರುವ ಅಜ್ಞಾನಕ್ಕೊಂದು ಹೊಸ ಜ್ಞಾನೋದಯ ತಂದ ವಿದ್ಯಾಲಯ. ತಪ್ಪನ್ನು ತಿದ್ದಿ ಬುದ್ಧಿ ಹೇಳುತ್ತಾ ನಮ್ಮ ತಂದೆ ತಾಯಿಯಂತೆ ಕಾಣೋ ದೇವಾಲಯ. ಬಾಳಿಗೂ ಒಂದು ಅರ್ಥ ನೀಡುತ್ತಾ ದಾರಿ ದೀಪಾನ ಬೆಳಗೋ ಈ ವಿದ್ಯಾಲಯ. ಜೀವಕ್ಕೆ ಜೀವ ನೀಡೋ ಬಂಧುತ್ವ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಸ್ನೇಹಕ್ಕೆ ಸೈ ಅನ್ನೋ ಸ್ನೇಹಾಲಯ. ನನ್ನಾನೆಯ ಜ್ಞಾಪಕ ಎಂದೆಂದು ಮರೆಯಾಗದು, ನನ್ನಿಂದ ದೂರಾಗದು. ಕಣ್ಣಾರೆ ನಾ ಕಂಡ ದೇವಾಲಯ, ಬೆಂತಟ್ಟಿ ಮುನ್ನಡೆಸು ವಿದ್ಯಾಲಯ.
Good morning my dear students, welcome for to the online class. So let me continue the second lesson of geography, Indian physiography. So in the previous class we have discussed about the physiographic division of India. In that already we have learned the first division of the physiographic division, it is northern mountains. So the detailed and brief information about the northern mountain we have discussed. Let us study now another one important physiographic division. It is known as a northern Great Plain. So where is the northern Great Plain of India situated? So this northern Great Plain is situated in the northern mountains below and the peninsular plateau. Up the northern mountains or Himalayan mountains are in the north, where the peninsular plateau is in the south. In between, so this northern Great Plain was situated, and the total area of this northern Great Plain is 2500 kilometer of a length. And how much width is there? The width of this northern Great Plain is 240 to 340 kilometer of distance, and the total area of a northern Great Plain, it is 7 lakh square kilometer. And how this northern Great Plain is formed? So the doubts are going to create. This northern Great Plain is formed by the deposition of river water. I told you, so the northern mountains are going to influence most of the rivers to take birth. So while the river which are going to flow in the northern mountains, that all carrying a different kind of so the minerals, materials, rock boulders and alluvial soil, everything it will carry down and it is dumped in the Himalayan foothills. So that dumped area which is in surface, so it is known as a Northern Great Plain. So now you come to know very clearly how the Northern Great Plain was formed. So which are the very important rivers are going to flow in the northern mountains and passes through the Northern Great Plain. So either it is a Satluj or maybe it is a Ganga and the Brahmaputra. These are the very three important rivers along with the many tributaries. These rivers will flow into the Northern Great Plain. While flowing, it carries lot of materials and created the well fertile alluvial plain. So what is the importance of Northern Great Plain when we are going to study? The Northern Great Plain influence for most of agricultural activities throughout the year, because it is a world very good alluvial soil, surface land was located there, and it is easy to contest. There is no any rock, so the boulders on that area, either the rock mountains in that Northern Great Plain. So due to that, so the rivers which are going to flow from the northern mountains into the Great Plain of north, so supports for the agricultural activities throughout the year. We can construct easily the canals and we can supply the water for agricultural activities. The plain also influence for the construction for easy for the railways and the roads. So very excellent roads and the excellent canals and the railway tracks we can see. So due to that, the highest population in the India is located in the Northern Great Plain. So that's why it is also called as a heart of India. So sometimes they will ask you generally or specifically for your exam about this content, one question: why do the Northern Great Plain is called as heart of India? Because well alluvial soil used for agricultural activities in the Northern Great Plain, and it is very surface land. There is no any rock mountains or rock boulders on the Northern Great Plain. So due to that, easy to construct road and railways, and many industries are located which depend upon the agricultural raw material, and most of the peoples in India depend upon the agricultural activity. Due to that, high population is located in the Northern Great Plain. So that's why it is called as a heart of India. Now we come to know very clearly the second important Indian physiographic division. It is known as the Northern Great Plain. So let us discuss the another one important the physiographic division. It is known as a peninsular plateau. So my dear students, already you know what is peninsula. So the land which covers three sides of water and one part of the land, it is called as a peninsula. What is the meaning of plateau? The land which is flat in the high mountain levels, it is called as a plateau. Where in Kannada it is called as a ಪ್ರಸ್ಥಭೂಮಿ, ಎತ್ತರದ ಪ್ರದೇಶದಲ್ಲಿರುವಂತ ಸಮತಟ್ಟಾದ ಪ್ರದೇಶ, that is called as a plateau. And this peninsular plateau, where it is located? It is located in the southern part. The southern part of whole India, it comes under the peninsular plateau. You have known already how the South India border is there. It is in a triangular shape. And the west side there is Arabian Sea, and east side there is a Bay of Bengal. In the south there is a Indian Ocean. So like this, in the triangular shape, in the three sides, the water bodies are located surrounded to the peninsular plateau. And in the north there are Vindhya mountains. So in this triangular shape, the peninsular plateau is located, and it is the very oldest landmass when we study about the history of the earth. It belongs to an Gondavan age. So what is a Gondavan land? Means millions years ago. So how the rocks converted into the cool and prepared a soil. Formation of soil, how it took a place. So million years back, so this peninsular plateau was created. It belongs to a oldest Gondavan land, that we come to know. And now we are going to study about how much area the peninsular plateau is covered. It covered totally how much area? 16 lakh square kilometer. So now, how it is bounded? So the peninsular plateau is bounded by the hills and the plateaus, and also some important the passes also you can see the peninsular plateau. So which are the hill stations? Either may ranges you can see in the peninsular plateau. You can see Aravalli Hills, Vindhya Mountains, Satpurs, and Western Ghats, Eastern Ghats, Chota Nagpur. So these are the important hill stations, mountain ranges you can see bounded for the peninsular plateau, and Malabar plateau and Chota Nagpur plateau also, Deccan plateau also surrounded for the peninsular plateau. Now we are going to study among these important mountains and ranges that are Aravalli Hills. So Aravalli Hills will come in the northwest part of the peninsular plateau, and it is the oldest old mountain. Among the Aravallis, one highest peak is there. So it is known as a Mount Guru Shikhar. So it is 1772 meters height from the sea level, and Mount Abu is also one of the important place which comes in the Aravalli Hills. And next we are going to study about the Vindhya Mountains. Aravalli Hills below, another one mountain ranges will come that are known as a Vindhya Mountains. So it is in the north part of the peninsular plateau. So these Vindhya Mountains stretch flanked along with the Narmada river, means on the Narmada river bank. So there we can see the which mountains? Vindhya Mountains. Vindhya Mountains below there is a Narmada river is going to flow. And next we are going to study about the Western Ghats. Western Ghats are attached to the Arabian Sea. So these Western Ghats are going to call in Maharashtra and Karnataka as a Sahyadris. Sahyadris, it is another one name for the Western Ghats. And these Western Ghats having some important passes. There are three important passes are there. So one is Borghat, Talghat and the Palghat. So these are the important passes. Already I told you what are passes means, where there is a gap between two mountains or two valleys to travel or to contact the goods or maybe a transport. It is called as a passes. In Kannada it is called as a Kanivegulu. So and some hill stations also you can see in the which part of the Western Ghats? West part. So among that Annamalai, Palani and the Cardamom hills are there. So in Annamalai hills you can see one of the highest peak. It is called as Annaimuri. It is 2695 meters from the sea level. So it is the highest peak in the South India. So keep in the mind, sometime for your MCQ or objectives or 1 mark question they will ask you which is the highest peak in the South India. What you have to write the answer? It is Annaimuri. And when you come for the plateau section, plateau means I told you ranges or mountains are different, plateaus are different. So plateaus means a surface land on the mountain. So you can see three important plateaus in a peninsular plateau. One it is Deccan and another one is Malwa and the Chota Nagpur plateau. Where the Deccan plateau is located? It is located in between Vindhya Mountains. Vindhya Mountains are in the northwest and Western Ghats are in the west. So their Eastern Ghats are in the east. In this three part in between, this Deccan plateau is located. And next Malwa plateau is located, and here for the Mahadeva ranges and Maikala ranges will come. So that are the two important mountain ranges will be attached for the Malwa plateau in the west and the east side. Next one is Chota Nagpur plateau. It is in the northeast part of the peninsula. So like this, so we are going to get information about the peninsular plateau. Whatever the names I have used here the place names. Better you can see the outline map of India or take one atlas, and particularly you find the page of the northern especially the peninsular plateau region you see, and find out these all places where it is located in the map. Then you come to know very clearly where it is all important. The plateaus and hill stations, either may passes or maybe a mountain ranges are located very clearly in the atlas. Then you can understand easily the concept what I have explained here. Now we are going to study about the importance of peninsular plateau. So important of peninsular plateau when we are going to learn. So peninsular plateau help for to the many rivers to take a birth, because what are there here? Here there are mountain ranges are there, plateaus are there, and these supports for to the birth of many river. So either may we say very important. So they are maybe it is Mahanadi or Krishna, Godavari, Kaveri, or some other kind of Narmada, Tapi. These all rivers are going to take birth in the peninsular plateau, and these rivers are also helpful for the production of hydroelectricity. And the peninsular plateau have a very rich minerals resources. So this you can utilize for the development of industries. Either may it is minerals like iron, manganese, or either may it is gold. So very valuable minerals which we are going to use all round development of our country. Most of the minerals are situated in the peninsular plateau. That's why it is economically helpful for development of many industries. And not only that, so the black soil is most situated in the peninsular plateau. It is well fertile for to grow cotton and the oil seeds. So like these agricultural activities, along with the production of hydroelectricity, and also for the development of mineral based industries, peninsular plateau have given lot of abundant resources for the human beings settlement. So now we come to know very clearly the importance of the peninsular plateau. So another one important information of the Indian physiographic division is a coastal plains. So coastal plains means you know that the land which stretched or plunged for to a big water bodies or a sea or ocean, it is called as a coastal area. So how much coastal area? The total India is having 6,100 kilometers, and these 6,100 kilometers from where to where it is extended, when we learn it extended in the west side, run of Kutch to in the east side for the Ganga Delta. And here this coastal plains we are going to divide into two parts. One is western coastal area and another one is a eastern coastal area. So now let me study the eastern coastal area from where to where it is extended. Where to where it is extended? It is extended from Rann of Kutch to up to the Kanyakumari in the south. And this area of the Rann of Kutch to up to Kanyakumari in the west side, we are going to divide into three parts the coast areas. So which are the important coast areas? One is Konkan and another one is Canara and the Malabar coast. And like this we have divided the western coastal area in the west coast. And now so we are going to study the another part of the coastal area is the eastern coastal area. Where to where it is extended? It is extended in the Suvarna Rekha in the east of the north to up to Kanyakumari in the south. So this section of an coastal area which stretches for to the Bay of Bengal, it is called as a eastern coastal area. And this eastern coastal area further we are going to divide into two important coasts. Which are the two important coasts? One is Sirkar and another one is a Coromandel coast. Better you see the textbook in that they have given so the outline map of an coastal area. So where they have located these names in your textbook, then you can understand the concept very easily. And now we come to know in the east coast area, what is the difference between the east coast area and the west coast area? Sometime they are going to ask you. So what you have to write? So where to where it is extended, the eastern coastal, western coastal area, and where to where the eastern coastal area it is extended, that you have to write. Then another one important information you have to write that. So the eastern coastal area was created by the deltas. The word, how in the North Great Plain you can see the world largest delta which is created by river Ganga and Brahmaputra, and here also you can see Mahanadi and Godavari created the delta in the east part of the Eastern Ghats, and river Kaveri and Krishna also created along with the tributaries some part of the deltas. So the east coast is very slope towards to the Bay of Bengal and is steep towards to the Western Ghats, Arabian Sea. So like this information you have to learn and understand. Now the another last concept of the Indian Physiographic Division, it is called as islands. So islands, total how many islands are there? 247 islands are there which belongs to the India. What is an island? Island means the small land which is surrounded by the water bodies, it is called as an island. So some islands are there in a Bay of Bengal and some islands are there in the Arabian Sea. So how many islands are there in the Arabian Sea? 43 islands are there in the Arabian Sea and 204. So the islands are there in the Bay of Bengal, including Andaman and Nicobar. So now we come to know very clear information about Indian Physiographic Division. So now let us revise some important questions which come for your exam regarding to the Indian Physiographic Division. So the first question they are going to ask you, how India physically divided. So that is one question, and they may ask you the difference between the Western Ghats and the Eastern Ghats. And one more important question they will ask you, write the difference between West Coast and the East Coast. And sometime for objectives, any kind of information regarding to the any part of the Indian Physiographic Division they will ask. Otherwise, for 3 marks, some important questions they are going to ask for you. Which are that important 3 marks question will come from this lesson. Write the importance of Himalayan mountains that already I have discussed with you. You can rewind the video and you can recall it. And what is the importance of the peninsular plateau and what are the importance of an so the coastal area, sometime they will ask you to your exam, so that you have to read very properly and sincerely towards to the lesson. It is very important. So sometime instead of this they will ask you to make some important so the part labeling in the Indian map. Either may they ask you the coast or maybe they will ask you any important so the divisions of the peninsular plateau to shade in the outline map of the India. So still regarding to this lesson, if you have any kind of a doubt, you can message or you can WhatsApp, you can clarify. The lesson is completed. So keep watching. Next we will discuss about another one important lesson of your syllabus. Until goodbye. Thank you.